Hello. So PT365 has been released yesterday, and we have talked about the introductory part yesterday as well. So if you want to see that, you can set the video. Now we are going to cover today the climate change. Okay, so this part we will try to cover. So climate change under which UNFCCC COP30 summit, which happened in Belém, Brazil this year, we are going to cover because this is very important. Then climate mitigation and adaptation strategies that we are going to do, and similarly there are certain subtopics, so we will do that also. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so first of all, let us start from very basic. What is the understanding of the climate change? What do you understand by climate change? So climate change is the change in the climate for a very long time. Okay, so climate is changing because of a number of factors. Okay, for example, increase in the temperature. Okay, carbon dioxide emission at a large scale. So all those things are the part of the basics. Okay, of the climate change. Now we are here to discuss about UNFCCC COP30 summit. Now what is this? So the 30th Conference of Parties to United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change UNFCCC was held in Belém, Brazil, which coincided with the 10th anniversary of the Paris Agreement. Okay, so Paris Agreement, you remember, it happened in 2015. So it was now this year, last year marks the 10th anniversary of the Paris Agreement, which means that we have to also look at the Paris Agreement outcomes. Okay, because there can be question on that. So now let us talk about the UNFCCC COP30. So it was hosted in Amazon region. So Amazon region means that you know that Brazil has a large number of forests. So you know that Brazil has large lion's share of the Amazon forest, which is known as the lungs of the earth. The summit was framed as the COP of implementation, COP of truth, and forest COP. Okay, so these were certain you can say that slogans uh, headlines that were put, rooted in the spirit of Mutirao, means inclusion and balance. It concluded with adoption of Belém package by 195 countries, including agreements on topics such as just transition, adaptation, finance, trade, gender, and technology, etc. Now, key meetings included COP30, UNFCCC, CMP20, Conference of Parties, serving as the meeting of the parties to the Kyoto Protocol, CMA7, Conference of the Parties, serving as the meeting of parties to the Paris Agreement. Now, let us talk about the UNFCCC. So, United Nations Framework on Climate Change. Okay. Oh, what is this? So, see. So, if we talk about the genesis of the UNFCCC, so it was emerged from 1992 Earth Summit at Rio de Janeiro and adopted in 1994. It is one of the three sisters Rio Conventions. Okay, so if you remember, so Rio Convention had given three organizations. Okay, so that is what is called three sister conventions, to the other being uh, two being UN Convention on Biological Diversity, UNCBD, and UN Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCCT. So remember that Earth Summit or Rio Convention in 1992 has led to the origination of the three conventions. First was the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, then you have United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity, and third one is the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. The first COP meeting of UNFCCC was held in Berlin, Germany in 1995. Now, who are the signatories? How many members are signatories? So 198. Is India a member? Yes, India is a member. So report NDC synthesis report. It releases nationally determined contribution synthesis report. Okay. Now let us talk about the outcome. So Belen mission to uh, uh, 1.5 degrees Celsius. What is this? So it was launched or implemented under COP29 to COP31 Troika UAE. So COP29 was held in UAE. Then COP30 was in Azerbaijan, and COP31 is in this one is COP30. So previous COP was happening in UAE, then Azerbaijan, then now it is happening in Brazil. Okay, action-oriented platform to foster. So, what is Bellum Mission 1 to 1.5 degrees Celsius? So, this is basically nothing but the action-oriented platform to foster enhanced ambition and international cooperation across mitigation, adaptation, and investment. Now, Global Implementation Accelerator. So, it was implemented under COP30 and 31 presidencies. So, it is a voluntary initiative to support countries in implementing their NDCs and National Adaptation Plan. Now, National Adaptation Plans Implementation Alliance (UNDP), Italy, Germany, NAP, Global Network, NDC partnership launched as a new pass plan to accelerate solution under the COP30 action agenda, supports implementation of NAPs and mobilize public and private investment to advance national adaptation. Now, the most important thing from the perspective of exam is the tropical forest forever facility TFF. So what is this? So it is a kind of fund which is going to provide 125 billion fund for tropical forest. Okay, for the conservation of the tropical forest, and fund tropical forest investment fund that pays tropical forest countries for maintaining and expanding. Okay, so those countries who have the tropical forest, they are going to get this 125 billion dollar investment for the expansion and maintaining the tropical forest in their own country. Okay, tropical, subtropical, moist. Okay, so tropical and subtropical moist broadleaf forest. Okay, endorsed by Brazil, Indonesia, DRC, and China, etc. India joined as an observer. So remember, India has not endorsed, rather it has joined as an observer, trustee, and interim host. So World Bank is the trustee. So aims to mobilize 25 billion from member countries and attract up to 100 billion dollar from private investors. Mandates at least 20% of all payments flow directly to indigenous peoples and local communities. Mandates at least 20% of payments flow directly to the. So we have done this. Now there is a something called resilient agriculture investment for net zero land degradation accelerator. So Brazil and 10 partner nations hosted by Brazil under the FAO, a Food and Agriculture Organization fast partnership to restore 3 3 million hectares of degraded farming using blended finance and private capital. Please ignore the noise. Unnecessary noise is coming. So sorry for that. So it is based on Greenway and Eco Invest in Brazil and coordinated by FAO. Okay, now scaling a JREDD plus coalition. It is a jurisdiction reducing emissions from the deforestation and forest degradation. Okay, so these are the members: UK, Singapore, Costa Rica, Ethiopia, Ghana, Guyana, and Kenya. A new coalition of governments, indigenous people, investors, standard setters, and civic society offers a credible, mature pathway to mobilize 3 to 6 billion per year by 2030 to halt and reverse tropical deforestation. Now, economy and finance. So, Baku to Belem roadmap 1 to 1.3 trillion. The official pathway to mobilize a new collective quantified goal of 1.3 trillion per year by 2035. tripling of adaptation finance, increase adaptation finance to 102 billion per year, okay, dollar per year, okay, as part of the broader 300 billion per year in climate finance for developing countries. Okay, so this is some other thing you can see. Okay, not very much important. Now, FINI means fostering investable national implementation, make national adaptation plan. This is not much important. Okay, now you can see plan to accelerate coal and transition pact. It is for roadmap to fast track the transition from coal to clean energy while ensuring energy security. Next, not much important. Now, other important outcomes of the COP30, not much important. Okay, now let us go with the next topic. Okay. Now, Green Climate Fund. What is this? So, world largest climate fund mandated to support developing countries to raise and realize their nationally determined contribution. What is nationally determined contribution? It is a kind of a goal that is being set up by individual country as to how much, or and what they are going to do with respect to the reduction of fossil uh, uh, non-clean energy. Okay, for example, coal. Okay, that is the thing. Low emissions and climate resilient pathways. So that is the thing. Serves the Paris Agreement in accordance with Article 9. Okay. Now, next thing is climate mitigation and adaptation. National determined contribution (NDC). What is NDC? Now, India will publish its revised nationally determined contribution for 2035 period by December. About nationally determined contribution, each party to the Paris Agreement is required to establish an NDC and update it every 5 years. India submitted its first NDC in 2015, updated in 2022. Okay, now India is going to do this again after 3 years. Now, what is what has been the target of India? So, quantitative targets for 2030. So, reduce the emissions intensity of its GDP from 2005 level. Uh, Previous NDC was 33 to 35%, and updated is 45%. Okay, so reduced by 36% between 2005 to 2020. Cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel based energy. So now it is 50%. India has already received 51% September 2025. Create additional carbon sink through additional forest and tree cover. So same as, so 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent. Okay. And note, India in its updated NDC 2022 has included a component of mass movement for lifestyle for environment as a key to changing achieving one of its quantitative targets. Now, other related concepts: India's Panchamrit committed in COP26 held at Glasgow reach 500 gigawatt non-fossil fuel energy capacity by 2030. Okay, so Panchamrit meet 50% of energy requirements from renewable energy by 2030. Reduction of total projected carbon emission by 1 billion tons from now to 2030. Reduction of carbon intensity of economy by 45 by 2030 over 2005 level, achieving the target of net zero emissions by 2070. So this is the Panchami 5 promises India has done. Okay, what is those? First is that it's reached the 500 gigawatt non-fossil fuel energy capacity by 2030. Second is the meet 50% of its energy requirements from renewable energy by 2030. And third one is the reduction of total projected carbon emissions by 1 billion tons from now to 2030. And fourth one is the reduction of carbon intensity of the economy by 45% by 2030. And the last one is the achieving the target of net zero emission by 2070. India's long-term India's long-term carbon development strategy. So are submitted to UNFCCC. India submitted it in 2022, mentioned that financial resources will be required to install renewable power plants, upgrade the transmission grid, and introduce energy storage system. So that's all for today. Thank you.